everyone. Annie Dickerson here. And on behalf of the entire Goodegg Investments team, I wanted to welcome you to another episode of the Life and Money Show, where we talk about everything from investing to financial freedom to parenting, traveling, creating a life by design, and everything in between. And boy, are you in for a treat today. Because I'm here with my amazing co-host, Susan Elliott, and we are going to be talking about how we talk with our husbands about finances and investing. But Susan, welcome. How are you today?
Well, I'm doing good. It's one of those days where I've accomplished so much before 10 a.m. with going to the gym and taking my parents to the airport and spending some quality time with the kiddos. And so it feels good. But I love what we get to talk about today, because so much of money and life is who we get to spend it with and who we're on the journey with, and the person, our spouse or our long-term partners. This is just such the meat of where we can really go far if we focus on this relationship and building it in a really sustainable and blissful way. So yes. I can't wait to dive in.
Yeah. There are a few nuggets I want to pull out of your story that I think are really valuable for the listener to really understand, is that, with partnerships and couples, money is the number one thing that causes strife and anxiety and arguments. I see this with my friends. I see this in my own relationship at times, that, if you're not on the same page, that it can cause all sorts of issues, not only with your relationship, but with friends and family, with your kids as well. So it's super important to get aligned and on the same page. It's not always easy because, you come with different experiences, different upbringing, different limiting beliefs around money. And so I love that early on you guys decided to take that course, the Dave Ramsey course, just to give you a basis, a foundation where you guys could have this shared vocabulary and understanding.
Absolutely.
It's not that you had to go hardcore, like, oh, I'm totally all in on everything he teaches, but it just gives you a starting point for you guys to talk about, do I believe in this? Yeah. Is this what I was taught growing up? And to create a shared vision together, which then it sounds like that really laid the foundation for you then to explore this path to financial independence, which I know is something that Dave Ramsey talks about as well. And then you have this shared vision, which is another key, is you have this shared foundation of vocabulary. Then you create this shared vision of where you want to go. And maybe it's that shared vision maybe has a few different steps to it. Maybe there's a few steps before you get to financial independence, and maybe there's a few steps beyond financial independence that you want to get to. But having that long-term vision, shared vision together, then that makes it easier. So when you came to him and said, okay, I want to start this business, or I want to try these rental properties, duplexes, then you could both see in context, oh, okay, this falls in this rung of the ladder. This will get us one step closer to this goal that we both have together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. To be able to come on the same page, to have that safe space to just talk about it, to talk about, why do I feel this way about money? Why, and then to agree, yes, I want to achieve financial independence one day. Therefore, we need to take these actions now. But you're right. It is an ongoing vision as well, because I went really hard into personal finance and real estate investing, like almost too much, such that I was getting really nitpicky about our finances. And I have since kind of backed off, because that lifestyle by design piece came back in and saying, like, do I really want to count every penny? Do I really want to optimize every little thing that I do? I have to trust that, like, I'm taking big action, I'm moving forward, but this is how I want to spend my time every day. And so we've had to shift it as we go. And to his credit, he's really grounded me back in that aspect of it. Never saying, like, I don't think we should invest, but just at least saying, but should we get rid of our truck that doesn't have air conditioning and we can't actually use it in the summertime to take our kids on adventures, and maybe buy something different, not new, different. So we're always learning together. It's such a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's so interesting about every couple is that everybody has a different appetite for risk, and and feelings about money too. You talked about financial anxiety. I have some of that as well. I don't like getting bills in the mail either, and we've gone through these evolutions over time. Of sometimes we had a very strict budget, sometimes we didn't. Sometimes we had, we followed Dave Ramsey's method or somebody else's method, or we had, the envelopes of cash, or we had, we've tried different things. It's not like, for anybody listening, it's not like there's one path that will work for everybody, but it's about having this open and honest conversation and really getting vulnerable. I mean, how scary is it to tell somebody, I panic when there's a bill in the mail, or I feel bad when I spend money on myself, or, like all these things that
or like I
so
panic when you spend money, which isn't, I don't want that to trigger me too. And it's hard to say that stuff, but we have to be able to be open, especially with our partners that we're on this journey with. And I love that you brought up that the testing, right? So we're testing out new ways to do things with each other. And that is part of the design process. And that's how we build our these beautiful lives that we're working on. We're always testing new things to be able to get it to, some sort of equilibrium.
So these days, now that you've gone through the Dave Ramsey course and you've had these conversations about money, and you've definitely become a real estate nerd, as have I, despite all the kicking and screaming. So these days, what do your financial conversations look like? Do you talk about money, all the time? Is it certain times that you get together on date nights or whatnot? What does that look like for you guys?
Great question. At one point we were kind of having a weekly finance date, and it was in the wee hours. We're early risers, and our daughter wouldn't wake up until 7 or 8. Now our son wakes up at 5. So those early hours are pinched by that. But we used to meet almost once a week for at least several months on and off. And that was really helpful when we were in the just like, we have to get things up to speed. And so I would say that now we're basically up to speed. We have a shared vision of, amounts we want to be investing every year, the types of investments. I really just handle all that. He trusts me fully with like, okay, I think we should put some money in this type of asset or this type of asset, or, but we also talk about, I would say, it's not a regular date. Again, my son is 1.5. I feel like I'm just coming out of the early kid year of that. And then I'm, the fog. Exactly. I'm looking forward to kind of reinstating some like a quarterly meeting and these kind of habits and routines. Those are all new. We're developing new routines, but to be able to sync up and now we're able to speak in bigger pictures. Like, do we want to build that big, a garage with an apartment over it? That's one of our near-term dreams on our property, which is a small piece of property in a really cool little town. And do we want to get that new truck so that next year we can go on rafting trips with our kids and not sweat it out in the non-air conditioning vehicle? So we're like, okay, if we want to have these big savings goals as well as big investing goals, like what does that look like? We also talk a lot about where, what we want to be doing with our family. Like, what are the things you've always dreamed that you would do? And when are we going to do those things? Instead of just thinking one day I'll take my kids here, or I'll do this big, cool thing with them and my family, or I'll take on this big physical challenge for myself. And so I think finances helped us say, like, if not now, when? Or so when are you going to start doing that? Because you do have to start investing as soon as possible. So you start taking action earlier. And I think that's spread to the rest of our family life as well.